Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Huh? We live again. What's up? Which is your still sharp and steel mentor, Martell Haskins, coming from you on November 1st from Maryville, Indiana. And what was on my heart to share with the world, to be of service, to give my testimony for those who may be about to go through it or are currently there, to help pull them forward to the other side. Um, I was married for 6 years. I still am married, but me and my wife currently separated. We've been together for over 16 years. It wasn't one thing that broke the camel's back, but as the man and as the leader, I have an understanding that it was my responsibility, and I take full ownership of that. We've been able to maintain a very peaceful separation. At times, it wasn't it wasn't always that way. I used to always wonder where that line, it's a thin line between love and hate, came from. And I recognized that and I experienced that going through the journey of my separation with my wife. But I'm here to share with you, fellas. And it's hard to hear, but it's the truth. And what I'm sharing is only a perspective. If it's higher than the perspective that you currently hold, I would ask that you allow yourself to lend into it, um, to allow yourself to look at it from a different angle. It's up to the man as to how, for the most part, I'm not going to say that the women have no responsibility, but for the most part, it's up to the man and how we handle it and how we show up. And that's what my channel is about calling man forward. It's about showing up as the best version of yourself, no matter what the situation is. If that's in your marriage, if that's with your children, if that's with your mother or your mother-in-law or whoever you have relationships with, if that's with your jobs, if that's with your goals. Um, my channel is here to help cultivate some perspectives and some thoughts and some ideas and some energy and get it flowing in that way, um, to be who we were created to be what our souls are calling us to be. I've been on this journey of growth for about 4 years, and things have just dramatically changed in my life. And that hasn't all been all sunshine and rainbows, but I think about where I was before and how I showed up before as a man. And I was in my immature masculine. I didn't accept accountability. I played the victim role. I felt stuck in life. Um, I ran away from my pain constantly through alcohol and escorts and massage parlors and marijuana and all different type of ways that we have in our culture, to not face what we need to face. And what I had to learn on that journey is, if you don't face it, it's going to manifest in your life in a way that hurts and is very painful. Um, yeah, well, I'm just talking. I'm not ready to put this content out yet, but I do need to get comfortable with getting in front of the camera and expressing myself and figuring out how to edit videos and figuring out how to do what I want to do. But right now, I'm just going to freestyle some thoughts that I have on my mind. Um, it's up to the man, fellas. It's up to how we show up. Uh, what I've learned about women on this journey is that they're responders. You've heard the saying: you give a woman a house, she turns it into a home. You give her sperm, she turns it into a baby. Well, how we do anything is how we do everything, and most women operate that way. Women are reactionary creatures, and most women are, I would say, all women are extremely sensitive to energy, and that's really what it's about. It's the energy that you bring, because that matters to them more than words. As a newly single man, well, not single, but separated and slightly dating, I'm pretty sure a lot of us fellas have heard the girl say, it depends on the vibe, or it's a vibe, or I don't like your vibe. What they're technically saying is how you make me feel. That to them is more important than the words that you say. And a lot of times we run into issues with women as being very logical beings and communicating from our brain and our head all the time. But a lot of times the brain doesn't align with the heart. And to have the most effect with women is when your mind can align with your heart and when you can lead with your heart because they feel that. And women are extremely sensitive to what they feel in energy. So that goes back to my topic of, when I was first separated, when I was very hurt, uh, that she decided that she wanted to leave and separate and take my children. Um, I fought fire with fire, and hurt people. But I noticed the more that I did things to hurt her, the more she would do things to hurt me. And it was at a point where I decided how I was going to show up. I decided I wasn't going to have a bitter situation toward her. She's the mother of my children. We'll have grandkids together at some point. I did not want a bitter relationship between me and her. And I understood that I had the power as the man and as the head to spear that. And I did it. I began having honest, challenging conversations with her. It first of all starts about the man taking 100% accountability for your part. And what you will find more than none is that once you take the lead and you begin to take responsibility and accountability for your part, it may not happen overnight, but she will begin to take some accountability on how she showed up. But man, it comes down to us being in our mature masculine. It comes to down to us taking accountability. It comes down to us facing what we need to face. Because if you don't, your soul is always calling for you, or God is always calling for you to get your attention on something. And it starts off as a whisper, and then it starts off as a knock at the door, and then it's a bang at the door, and the next thing you know, it's a car accident, or it's cancer, or it's a DUI. It manifests itself in negative ways when we don't face what we need to face. And how do you know what you need to face? Is by emotions. And a lot of us, man, in this society have been conditioned to um, not be aware of our emotions. But the way that I say it is God gave you those emotions and he gave them to you for a reason. And what I've learned is that emotions are an indicator of the spiritual world. Um, they are to let you know when you're on the right track and when you're on the wrong track, or when you need to pay attention to this or when you don't. If we were in the forest at midnight and you heard some rumblings in the leaves, the emotion of anxiety and fear will heighten. And then your body will release adrenaline. They all serve a purpose. But many of us, man, have pushed down those emotions for too long. We've been the rock. We've been the guy who can pay all the bills and nothing bothers us, nothing gets to us. But that's not who we really are, man. And we're cutting everyone short in our life for not fully expressing who we truly are. And the only way that you can fully express who you are is to tap into those emotions, is to be vulnerable, is to cry if you need to. And that's why it is my mission to create a brotherhood, Steel Sharp and Steel, um, for man, where they can have a place to be vulnerable. I can show them through the things that I've learned how to access their emotions, how to face and feel what they need to feel, how to get unstuck in life, how to say enough, how to have joy and love and all those things in a moment. In a moment, you can change your state of mind just by moving 25 jumping jacks. It's so many of these tools that I've learned throughout the years that I'm beyond grateful for. But I know that my higher purpose is to reach back and share this information, this knowledge, this wisdom that I've learned, because it's been life changing for me on so many different elements. Now that I am back out here single again, just the that's another thing I want to tell, man, because I'm not 100% sure if me and my wife will get back together. We've discussed it, but I'm not sure if that's the best thing for me, and I'm pretty sure she's not sure if that's the best thing for her. So as I've begun this more single life and showing up in this version of myself, the response from women is, I mean, it's unbelievable. Um, when you know yourself and you show up in the full version of yourself, not just the head version of yourself. I'm talking about the head, the heart, the emotion, the soul, and you're authentically who you are. It changes everything in your life. And that is what I know. So this is still just a practice run for me. I'm about 10 minutes in. I got so many things I want to talk about, so many things I am going to talk about. Um, I'm gonna kind of go through the list with you all, just just to let you know what's to come, why you should subscribe to this channel, why you should not trip on me, because I know right now my content isn't the most entertaining, or it doesn't look the best, or but it's gonna get there because I'm gonna stick with it. Um, if you're a person in your life and you're always in your head, you're always in your head. You know, every New Year's you say I'm gonna go on a diet, you do it for 2 weeks and then that's over with. Or you say you're gonna go on a diet and you never do it. Or you say you're gonna start saving money and you never do it. I understand how to get out of there because I was there. I was there. I understand how that feels to have all these great ideas in your mind, to have your soul constantly calling you to be the best version of yourself and still be where you're at. You don't have to be that way. You don't have to be there. See, in the old days, we were in tribes. You know, we did things that kept each other accountable, and we don't have that anymore. But in this brotherhood, still sharp and steel, accountability will be the utmost. I will hold you to the fire. I will make sure that you show up as the best version of yourself. I won't allow the excuses because I've told them all to myself, and they got me nowhere. But it will be done with compassion. It will be done with love. It won't be like a drill sergeant in your face yelling, drop down and give me 50 and calling you all type of names. It'll be from a place of understanding and non-judgment. Because many of the things that you've been through, I've been through. You know, we're all on a very similar journey in life. Um, just go through a little bit more of the list. Um, I talked about being stuck, um, suppressing anger, man. That is something that most men do, usually because we fear what will happen after we get angry. But it's one of the most detrimental things that we do is push down that anger. Because what you push down, it's gonna come out some way. I can guarantee you. There are methods from raging, from yelling in a pillow, um, that change your life when you begin to release that anger inside of you. And I'm not talking about releasing it on somebody. I'm not talking about putting that energy towards somebody. I'm just talking about releasing it from your body. Because most of the time, you know, when you're anxious or angry, you can feel it in your body. When you're anxious, you can feel it in your gut. You know, you when you're angry, you can feel it in your body. And the thing is, we don't allow those things to be released. And those things bind us up. And those things make us shrink as man. But once you begin to release those things, you begin to stand up taller. You begin to be more of the fuller version of yourself. You be able to hear from God more. You be able to hear from source more. You know, your energy is now released. You have a lot more creativity. So that's one of the most transformative things that I learned is when I learned to release anger. And I'm talking about in a positive way, where I can release the anger in 30 seconds and then 5 seconds later, I'm smiling and laughing. And it's not about being schizophrenic. It's about having the ability to control my emotions and having the ability to allow what needs to flow through me to flow through me. What else I want to talk about? I mean, I get to it. Suffering, learning how to suffer, vulnerability, how powerful it is to be vulnerable. You know, in our community, we were taught being vulnerable is soft. I'm here to tell you that is a lie. It takes a strong man to be vulnerable. It takes a strong man to put himself out there. Um, it's so much, man. The hero's journey. So much I want to teach that has transformed my life, both inside and out. And I will teach on this channel. I still have to figure this whole YouTube thing out, but I guarantee I'm gonna figure it out. Please, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please go ahead and hit them in the comment section. I'm open and willing to answer any questions. These videos will get a lot more pinpointed on specific topics. in specific teachings. But this video was basically, it was what was on my heart as I've been going through this separation. Want to let man know that I know how painful it could be. You know, there was a couple nights I looked at that pistol and it looked very interesting. To let them know that that pain does not last, and also to help show them how to get to the other side. Um, so that's it for this video. I will come back with a little bit more um, in sync content coming at you soon. Holla.